It's often what we do behind the scenes that determines how we respond when we are actually in conditions where we need to exercise our faith muscle. Everyone, it's Chris Caine here. I just want to take a few moments to share something personal and encouraging with you today. You know, when the pandemic began in 2020 and suddenly I wasn't able to travel all over the world, I had to do something with that extra time. So guess what? I decided that I was going to start climbing mountains because that's what Chris Caine would do. And what happened was I began to climb all the mountains in Southern California where I live. My friend Dawn invited me to do this. Now, she's one of those women that just kind of runs 100 miles for fun, does triathlons just for fun. I was not that person. And so I had to start by being able to build muscle. We did not start on the tallest mountain. I remember she said at the outset, Chris, we're going to climb Mount Whitney. Now that is the tallest mountain in the lower 48 of the continental US. And she's like, we're going to get there. She didn't say we're going to start there. She said we're going to get there. So I had to begin a whole training regimen, which meant that I had to build muscle. I had to build endurance. I had to build the capacity to be able to hike up a mountain. Now, ultimately, this mountain was over 14,000 feet. Now, I couldn't even breathe at that level. I had to build my lung capacity. I had to build my muscles in my legs. I had to build my muscles in my back in order to be able to carry a backpack. And here is the deal. I just wasn't used to doing any trails. So where did we start? We started on some pretty flat trails just to get me used to it. You also have to understand that I have a massive phobia of snakes, and I live in Southern California where they have rattlesnakes. So we just had to get me used to being in the wilderness where I wasn't freaking out every 5 seconds about the possibility of being bitten by a rattlesnake or the possibility of a mountain lion or a bear coming out to get me. And so I had to build my stamina, my strength, my confidence, my resilience, my tenacity. So I started training with weights and I started watching videos of experienced hikers because, of course, when I'm all in. I watched all the mountain climbing videos and, I had delusions of grandeur that one day I was going to do that. Now, when I started, I could barely keep up on our first few hikes. I mean, we could just go maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. And I started to realize that preparation was really important. The kind of food that I had in my backpack was really important. The kind of supplements that I took, the rest that I took, the training was so crucial because basically the training that I did when I wasn't on the trails determined whether I was going to be able to stay there on the trails, to be able to keep going regardless of what the weather conditions were. And a lot of that has got to do with our faith. I learned so many principles of faith when I was out there. I learned that I have to be committed to building the muscles of my faith behind the scenes so that when I am there and I am fighting the battles in the reality of life, I know how to worship, I know how to pray, I know how to be in the Word of God. It's often what we do behind the scenes that determines how we respond when we are actually in conditions where we need to exercise our faith muscle. It was all the training that I did when I wasn't on the mountain that determined whether I was able to sustain both the pace and have the endurance and have the resilience to get back up when I tripped, which I did a lot, and keep going on all of those hikes. And a lot of times we just want to be able to scale that biggest mountain. We just want to scale Mount Whitney. Now, this is like a 3-year process. I want you to know that we got in the lottery to do Mount Whitney, and 5 days before I was going to hike Mount Whitney, a tragic fire came out which shut down all of the national parks and I couldn't do it. So what am I going to do? I'm waiting for the next time I'm going to go out, which means I have to keep training. I have to get out on more mountains. I have to do longer hikes. I have to keep building my resilience. I have to keep building my endurance. I have to keep eating the right food, getting the right amount of sleep so that I can scale that highest mountain that is still in my sights. I'm still still waiting for that. While I'm waiting, I'm still training. You might be right in the midst of a waiting period in your life. And waiting is so difficult. I know when I started on those first kind of flat hikes and I just could not wait. I wanted to be strong enough and fit enough. I wanted to have enough endurance to be able to do the big mountains. Well, just recently I've done some really long hikes and some really difficult hikes that I could never have done when the pandemic first started. But it has taken a lot of waiting to build the muscle to be able to do the things that I had dreamt in my heart that I would be able to do. The waiting is always the most difficult season. You could be waiting for that job opportunity. You could be waiting for that promotion. You could be waiting for a breakthrough in that relationship. You might be in a season of waiting for your healing. You might be waiting for a season of a spiritual breakthrough in some area of your life. Can I just encourage you during that waiting period? Don't stop doing the things you need to do. As I was waiting to build the muscle to be able to climb the mountains that I wanted to climb, I had to keep doing the things that I knew to do. And during that process of continuing to do what seemed at times boring, what seemed at times difficult, when more often than not, I just didn't feel like doing it. My flesh did not feel like doing it. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do the basics. I just wanted to get through and just climb that mountain and have the whole thing done with. It's in the waiting season that we often want to quit. It's in the waiting season that we often want to pull back. It's in the waiting season that fear and doubt and unbelief and insecurity and frustration and disappointment and discouragement and disillusionment has the opportunity to take you out. Most people, it's in that middle waiting season that they give up, not because they don't have the potential to finish, but somewhere along the line they just got so discouraged, it seemed too hard, and it was just like, I'm going to give up. So I have created this brand new resource that I am so excited about, because you know that I'm not just going to climb a whole lot of mountains and then not teach you every lesson that I've learned on that mountain to help you during that waiting season, to help you bring resilience and to help you build strength and to help you build tenacity, because I want you to fulfill the call of God for your life. I want you to do all that God's called you to do and to be all that God's called you to be. And I know we've got a real enemy that wants you to quit in the middle. And I want to see God strengthen you in the middle. So this brand new devotional, I'm calling it Resilient Hope. Listen, we all need resilient hope in this day and age. It releases next month. You can pre-order your very own copy today. So don't miss this. I am believing that as we journey together over 100 days, we're going to build resilient hope that's going to help us scale the mountains, obstacles, and hurdles that are ahead of us and fulfill our God-given purpose. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. I hope you'll share your thoughts in the comments, and if you feel led, please share this video with a friend who needs to see it. Thanks so much for watching.